Hey guys, back in the garage again, working on the blue Camaro. You guys sent in a lot of good names. We'll see. Hopefully, within the next couple of days, we'll have a name for this blue car. All right. We're not going to go to Mr. Wilson's today. My parts guy had to drop something off out over there, so he said, "Listen, Al, I'll pick up that rocker for you, and I'll drop off the details black paint for you, and I'll drop off the shock plates." And this is what I want to show you. A friend of mine, Chucky, gave me a set of shock plates for a 1967 Camaro that he had. He said he had an extra set. And I wasn't thinking. So, you know, I'm laying everything out and I'm like, wait a minute. I just want to show you the shock plates right here. 1969, 1967. They're both the same. This right here, like the rear would sit roughly right here. And the shock goes in right over here. So you have enough room right here to go to your shock plate down on the bottom. You see this cutout right here? It's only about 4 inches wide. It comes up right over here, drops down, and then shoots across because it just needs this room right here for the shock to come down onto this plate right here where that hole is. Now I want to show you the difference between a 1967 shock plate and a 1968 and 9. In 1967, they mounted the shocks in front of the rear axle, which caused a lot of wheel hop. So in 1968, they changed it around. Here's a 1967. See, it would be the shock would be in front, right there on that hole, right there. 1968, 1969, it's right here. It's on the back. Now, you see this right here? 1960. This is a 1969, 1968 inner wheelhouse. See the way it comes up and comes all the way across and then drops down? In 1967, it came up just like the other side. It would be this wide. So you can use a 1967 inner wheelhouse and just have to cut this off, extend this hole right there, this cutout right here, to accommodate this right here. If that makes any sense. So basically what I'm saying is in 1968, 1969, they staggered the shocks. So they used a different shock plate, which was this right here. They just took this shock plate and then they welded it to this side. Basically, they just bent it the other way. So there is a difference between the shock plates from a 1967 to a 1968, 1969, and that's the reason why, for the staggering of the shocks. Okay, so, I hope that explains it. I just wanted to show you because I had them both here. And, I'm like, what better way? I could show you right there. So game plan for today, we're going to roll this out. I got to cut these bars out of my way. This right here, the same thing there, and on the other side. Because I want to cut this rocker out. And this rocker right here, I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to cut this straight down. Because I don't want to cut into this, open this up, open all this up, open it up here, open it up on the inside across there. So I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to run a nice seam all the way around. I'll grind it down. You'll never be able to tell that it was seamed in there without getting into the regular structure of it. If this was a full blown out restoration or something like that, yeah, I would probably cut into that and do it all and everything. But it's super solid there. It's in really nice shape. So, sometimes, not to say that it's a shortcut, sometimes you got to get to where you're going in a different direction, I guess. So, but we're going to cut most of this all out. My problem is here, the dilemma is, generally when you're changing a rocker, this isn't here. Because you're usually into the quarter panel. But I can't see changing this whole quarter panel for this right here. Because I can fix this. What I'm thinking about doing is just cutting along the seam, leaving the original flange for this that goes in, and then tucking it in underneath, and then coming around the inside, back in here, and welding it from there because there's no glass in there, there's no tracks, there's no nothing. So I should be able to get in there fairly. I should be able to get in there to be able to tack weld it in there. And hopefully not really touch any of this because this quarter panel is in nice shape. It's in really nice shape. Got a few little waves here and there, but we'll straighten that out. But not bad at all. The other side, same issue. So we'll see. But the other side of the rocker, it's in nice shape, except for like maybe 6 inches to where the rocker sits on it. So like I say, generally you're changing the quarters and everything, so we're kind of working almost from the inside out, I guess. I don't know. So kind of out of order, but that's the game plan. So what I want to do is we got to get this car, this frame up in the air off of this right here to give me some room to get in here. And rather than me explain to you what I'm going to do, because like I say, I'm a picture guy more than an explanation guy. I'm going to roll the frame out, and we're going to get to work on this car. So give me a second. Let me set this up, and I'll show you what we're going to do. All right? I'll be right back. Okay, let's get this outside. You figured I should have lifted this up. So it's not bad. This is just, it needs a couple of coats, but at least everything that we wouldn't be able to get to when it's in the car, we got. So let's roll this out. That's that. I just got to show you what I'm doing instead of trying to explain to you what I'm doing, because I'm not going to say it's sketchy. I'm not going to say what we're doing is sketchy. Because I got to get this frame off this lift. So this is what I'm thinking about doing. We have room here? All right, nothing's in the way. Nothing's going to get crushed. Let me show you what I'd like to do if this cooperates. Oh, let me see here. I'll show you in a second. Like I say, what I want to do is I want to get this frame on jack stands on the lift. That's the sketchy part. We got to get it up high enough. Let's see. I got jack stands somewhere over here. I had jack stands over. I know I have them. This is what we're going to need. Oh boy. We're going to need these jack stands. Oh boy. Oh, it's going to fall. Yep, it's going to fall. Oh no, it didn't fall. Oh my gosh. It's heavy. Let me move it here so we can move it again later. Oh, we got to come up a lot higher. That's not good. I don't know if I have that lift, that height. Let's see. Oh boy. Yeah, this is sketchy, all right. It's going to be even more sketchy in a minute. I got to laugh. Somebody had said a comment. Hold on one second. Okay. Let me just get this. Somebody had sent a comment. Nothing like a great sketchy story, especially when someone ends up in the hospital. I kind of got a chuckle out of that. And then I was like, wait a minute. I don't know about that hospital part. Let me see what we could do with this here. Here we go, right here. Oh boy, this is gonna get sketchy. This is gonna get sketchy, guys. Well, if it falls, I guess. Well, it won't fall far, I guess. I'm not gonna lie, this is worrying me a little bit. A little bit. I got another set of jack stands I can put on the back. All right, now I just have to find them. Hold on one second, guys. I know I got these jack stands. Here they are. Got them. Oh no. All right, we got to come down a little bit more on one side. Thinking right here we're gonna go down a hair more. This is kind of the idea I was telling you guys. Well, I was trying to tell you guys. I'm like, it's a lot easier for me to just show you the sketchiness we're about to do. I think that'll do it. I think we got this. Yeah, I think this will do it. All right, let's get this. Oh, you get the jack stand out of there. Now let's put this back up in the air. All right, I'm going to fast forward this. Here we go. Nah, maybe not. We'll go a little more. Okay. So that's what I was trying to explain to you. It's just easy for me just to show you. So this works out good because now I can cut this and this out of my way, so we can cut this out from the bottom and then slice it there. And we're just gonna honestly, generally the quarter's not there. This is never something that I even have to think about on how to approach it. But I gotta kind of do the rocker to where I gotta almost tuck it in underneath the quarter panel. So we'll see. I don't know. This is, like I say, generally the quarter panel's not there. Generally I'm just hacking everything off and getting everything out of the way. But we got to kind of like gingerly put this back in because it's got to look good, and it's got to be sturdy again. It's got to be the way it was. So we'll see. And that's another reason too why I really don't want to touch these factory spot wells. You know, I don't. At first, I don't think I need to, and you know, it saves, like I say, you know, kind of just shortcuts as to where we got to go without really sacrificing any structural integrity, I guess. So, you know me, enough babbling. Let's get to work on this. Here we go. Let's get this out of our way. No. This should work. This is going to be a bit of a pain. Nah, this will be fine. It's two out of the way. Oh, we got to get this one out of the way. Actually, this side's good. We don't have to touch this side. Well, I mean, this is in our way, but I guess we could work around it a little bit. I don't know. All right, we got to cut this side out too, because it is kind of in our way a little bit. All right, come here. Let me clean this up. Oh. Okay. Let's get this mess out of here. You might still need this Sawzall. All right, guys, let me show you what I want to do. I'm planning on just slicing right through here, right up to here. Same thing, somewhere right around here, slicing through right up to here. Then I'm going to cut it along here and along the bottom. We're going to do the same with the other one, and we're going to push it right in. I'm sure a lot of you guys are like, Al, what are you doing? Remember me, guy in the garage doing cool shit? Here we go. Oh, look who it is. It's Jerome. Oh, let me go see what he's got to complain about. I'll be right back. All right, let's make our marks and cut this thing up. Should get us right where we need to be. Here we go. Yeah, this makes me a little nervous. Oh, not really, honestly. If we ruin it, we'll just fix it. Let's get this line up here. I always say, you got to mess things up to make them nice. So, I guess if this is really messed up, it should look okay. This is pretty much where I want to go, right here. It's pretty straightforward. This is just a straight line across right here, and then I'll take all those plug wells out, and I'll peel that back. We got to get this one right here. Actually, this doesn't even matter because we're going to have to fill this in as we go. I don't even need to make a mark here. I need to make a mark here, though, because I don't want to cut into the outer wheelhouse. Back in here, we could always trim away later. Okay. All right, let me grab my glasses and start cutting this up. See if I can put you guys in a better spot. Yeah. All right, guys, let's see what we got. How cool is that? So I don't have an inner rocker. So what I have is another rocker right here. I'm going to cut a section of that, the length of this right here, all along. I'll clean that up. I'll hit it with that blue steel. I'll neutralize everything in there. I'll weld it all off. Now I'll have a new pinch weld, I guess. You know, the flange where the bottom of this rocker comes down. So basically, I'm going to just run another piece of metal down from here to here so I can plug weld my new rocker. I have a lot of cleaning up to do there. So what I want to do now is, because we made a huge mess here, I just want to clean the place up, get a game plan, and just keep moving forward on this. All right? So give me a second. I'll be right back. All right, I cleaned this up a little bit. This is what I'm thinking about doing. Setting this in here. I can weld all this off to everything behind it. This is the same length as the original one. It comes down to the bottom. So what I'm thinking is we can weld this up. I could also plug weld it through the top here, or seam weld it. It doesn't matter. So I'm thinking about doing is we'll peel this back. A lot of times they'll just peel back like a can. Sometimes, you know. Let's see if we can get this out of here. And just slowly start working at this. Yeah, it wants to come out. Oh boy. But you get the idea. I want to just peel all this back. I'm going to wire wheel this all down. Then I'm going to hit it with that rust neutralizer. Then we're going to sandwich it, weld it. I'll clean it up on the inside. And then we're ready to hang the new rocker. But I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with this and back in here. I got to cut all this out and trim this all out. So we'll see what happens, okay? Here we go. All right, guys, I just want to stop and show you where we are. I'm just tooting along, sorry. I put this in right here, and this is going to get the flange from the floor on the other side coming down. So this will be our finished bottom, like I guess pinch weld along the bottom. And I'm probably going to cut this out. I think I'm going to cut this out. But I'm going to cut this here and across here. So I'm going to just weld the edge across here, and then we'll weld it in back down through there. But what I want to try to do, because this is, normally it seems like normally the quarter would be off the car when you're doing these rockers like this. And I'm trying to save everything here. So I'm going to have to cut this right. I think I'm going to cut it right there. Either cut this flange out, probably along here. Because I could plug weld it from the inside, from in here. Like if you could see it in there. I could plug weld it from the other side, or stitch weld it, however I can get in there because it's going to be tight. So we'll see. Now it's just going to slowly just fine fitting. And like I say, I'm sure a lot of you guys are like, I'll just change the whole rocker front to back and stuff. It's a lot more involved than that because you have this inner bracket and you have the rocker right here, which runs through. And it comes around and ends right there. So it's like woven into three separate pieces of metal, which I've done it before. But on this right here, I don't think, especially with the door being off right here and everything, it makes it so much easier for me. I could get to everything here, and you'll never be able to tell how I did it. So that's, kind of the game plan. And it's not going to be any weaker. So like I say, it's sometimes you got to cheat a little bit. And not saying that you're cheating, you're going to compromise it. It's just, I guess I'm cheating a little bit because I'm going to cut this out right there. I started this right here, and I forgot to turn the camera on. So I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to cut it across here. That should allow me to take this rocker and rest it right on here. Game plan, anyway. So we'll see. Let me just set the camera down, and let's see what we can do with it, okay? This will be the tool that hurts you. Okay, so this is kind of the idea that I had. I'm trying to tuck it in underneath. I know I have to rebuild this right here, but then we can save the whole rest of the quarter panel. Like I say, the quarter panel is a little bit, sorry. Like I said, the quarter panel is a little bit wavy, but we could get it out. So we got to pull this end up, right up to here, flush. And this right here, we'll eventually get this in. I'll set it down. I'm going to cut this back a little bit, and then I'm going to run a bead right across here. I'll grind it down. And this right here, what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to cut this flange off and this flange off, and then plug weld it this way into the original. And I'll tap the original one back just a little bit because it's very thin, steel. So, you tap it back a little bit, boom, everything will kind of fit. So this is, the idea. So I'm going to keep at it just to dry fit it. Then I have to pull it back off because then we got to go inside, weld everything off in there. Then we got to treat it, then put this outer cover on. But we'll get it. All righty, give me a second. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. This is as far as we're going to go today. I just want to show you. I fast forwarded a little bit. You didn't miss anything. I'll show you what I did. I cut these little tabs off right over here. I got to cut this back a little bit because I'm going to run a bead there because I still want to see the original seam in there. This is pretty much the gap I got. All of this is lined up nice and even all the way across. I'll put a few screws in. The same down here. Like this is all lined up, all nice and even all the way across. So I'll put a few self-tappers in all around. The same here, a few self-tappers all around. Because I'm going to have to pull this rocker off, and it's nice. It's fitting in here really, really nice. So what I'm going to do is I got to pull the rocker back off. But before I do it, I'll set the self-tappers in there. I'll pull the self-tappers out. This way, when I go to reinstall it, I could just find the original screws that I had in there. So it just makes it a little easier. I mean, I could take it apart. I could clamp it and tap it into place and everything. But it's so much quicker once you have those self-tappers in there. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to pull this back off, like I say, and I got to weld everything on the inside, and I got to treat it with everything and seal it before I put this on. This way, that's not going to be a problem down the road. So that's about it for today. I just wanted to keep you posted on what was going on with the blue Camaro, and we'll have a name in another day or two. And don't forget to send those pictures into your cars for Friday. All right, I got a decent amount of cars to post, so it's almost like a Friday night car show. Okay, but that's it. And I back to the. I just keep babbling squirrel. I'm all over the place. I know I have to rebuild this right here. I've done this before. It's not a big deal. And that's about it. This blue car's slowly getting there, a little bit at a time. Then we have the same thing to do on the other side, except it's just just from like here back. So that side, it shouldn't take us long at all. So we should have tomorrow, game plan, we should have this rocker all done, all welded in. The rocker on the other side, all done, all welded in. And then we could start putting, I guess, honestly, we could probably put the rear in. We could probably do the rear. It depends. If it's not a long day tomorrow, we'll try to get the rear in the car, and we'll try to get the front suspension in the car. That means we got to put this thing back down on the dollies, get it off this lift, bring the lift all the way up, roll the car in, strap this car, and pick it up by the lift. So we'll see. It's not that tough. It's really not. It's just, well, we'll see. We'll see tomorrow. Okay, if not tomorrow, the next day. All right. So, as always, I appreciate you guys watching, and you guys take care of yourselves.